Hi, this is Travis Chisholm. I'm going to take you through a sprint warm-up protocol. First up, we have our thermogenic phase. The primary goal of this is to increase internal core temperature. We're going to do that through a couple of things, through here initially through a jog or walk for about 2 to 3 minutes. Again, we want to think more about posture, and so if the athlete's going to be jogging with a sloppy posture, I'd rather they just go for a walk. After about 2 to 3 minutes of walking and jogging, going through a couple of some sprint drills to kind of help, again, increase that temperature. Here we're going to do the Sotos. We want to think springy, pop off the ground, decrease contact time with the ground. After the Sotos, we're going to do a march. We want to think about power into the ground and thinking about rhythm and posture through these. Next, we're the ever so popular a skip. We want to think about everything out front, that foot out beneath the knee rather than underneath the butt. And then again, to kind of wrap up this section, we want to do high knees. We want to pop off the ground, fast turnover, and I recommend holding those for about 5 seconds. From there, after the thermogenic phase, we've kind of hopefully broken into a sweat, gotten the heart rate up. We want to now go through a mobility phase. Typically, we want to avoid something like static stretching. Static stretching tends to decrease power, and sprinting is a power movement, and so we want to avoid things like static stretching. Instead, something that has shown a positive effect on sprintability is foam rolling. Here I am modeling different ways to foam roll. My primary goal in foam rolling is to hit all the major lower body musculatures. So we have the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the quads, all. We wanted to make sure we hit all of those. Foam rolling has many positive effects. What I recommend is it can also tend to drag on, as athletes really like using foam rollers. And so we want to, if we're going through into a high power situation, we want to maybe minimize the amount of time, so just kind of quickly going through the foam rolling just to feel good. If it is a little bit of a recovery day, so you're planning on doing some tempos, not planning on doing anything too high intensity, then maybe as part of the recovery protocol, throwing in a little bit of a longer foam rolling session that can be good, as foam rolling has shown positive impacts on the psychology of the athlete by decreasing sensations or perceptions of pain. So here, again, it kind of wrapping up, hitting the quads. Again, you can increase the time of this by just increasing the amount of time in the rolling session, or you can increase by adding different body parts, adding rolling of the back musculature and the like, depending upon the needs of the athlete. I, again, primarily just focus on the lower body, as these are the primary muscles we're going to use during the sprint. As the athlete comes to the end of the rolling section, the next mobility drill we're going to go through are leg swings. Here I like to do lateral leg swings, and we have our sagittal leg swings. I like to do about 10 on each leg. This allows me to open up my hip musculature, specifically the hip flexors. I tend to have tight psoas muscles, and so when I do leg swings, it allows me to open those up. Primary cue here is we want to try to keep that heel on the ground. On the first one, you can see my heel kind of popping off the ground. Here I'm doing a little bit better job doing that. Again, we also want to think about going through a full range of motion. We want to try to, this is kind of a dynamic flexibility drill, and so the more we go through a full range of motion, the better off we're going to be. If athletes are going to be sloppy through this, then maybe not doing it, just skipping it and just doing the foam rolling would be enough. But I think leg swings can have a positive impact on sprinting ability. We do know it does positively impact vertical jump ability, which is a power movement, and so there's a possible correlation there with sprinting as well. From here, after we've done our thermogenic and we've done our mobility drill, hopefully our heart rate is up, we've started sweating, and we've now primed the body. Now we want to go from a general warm-up now to a more sprinter-specific warm-up. There are a couple possible possibilities, but regardless of what you do, I highly encourage the athletes to spike up at this point, as we want to now move our bodies as fast as humanly possible, and spikes are going to allow us to do that more so than trainers. You're going to see me putting on cross-country spikes rather than sprinter spikes, as I do not have a track, and so since I'm going to be sprinting on the grass, I'd rather use cross-country spikes. You can use cleats or whatnot. If you have a track, obviously sprinter spikes would be preferred. At this point, there's a couple of protocols that you could use. We have possible resisted sprints. We could also do some block drills, some technical stuff if it's more of a technical day. Here in my protocol, I'm going to model doing the wicket drill. The wicket drill is really great. It works on front side mechanics, as you will see here in just a second. The biggest cue for the wicket drill is we want to think about not reaching for the hurdles, but we want to think about horizontal forces off the push off. And here you'll see it in the front view. So again, we want to think about that push off phase, powerful push off phase, rather than reaching to get over the hurdles. Hopefully you enjoy this video, and happy sprinting.